Got knives.
Never would have thought something like this, clean crabs, fish, all right.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody to our October 6th regularly scheduled meeting. Earlier, we met with the PAC chairs from each school and just wanted to thank them for their participation. Tonight, we have a special guest that's going to lead us in our pledge, Chandler Willis with Scout Troop 252 from Davis. And Chandler, if you'll come up to the podium here and lead us in the pledge, we sure would appreciate it.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. If you remain standing for the invocation by Ms. Chadwick.
Dear Lord, as we gather tonight at this meeting, we ask that you will be in our midst. Help us to be able to discuss the matters at hand in a reasonable way and make decisions that will be pleasing to you. God, let this meeting be productive and help us keep the children and you at the forefront of our decision-making. Let all the work done here tonight be all in your glory. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Ms. Chadwick. Chandler, thank you for making the effort to be here. Yeah, thank you for doing that. All right, we will consider the meeting agenda.
My turn. Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion to move to amend the consent agenda to add as item 5.15, consider agreements for community organizations to provide remote learning facilities.
All right, motion by Mr. Jenkins to add 5.5 to the consent agenda. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Mr. Day with a second. All those in favor, raise your hand or say aye. Unanimous. Thank you. Okay, now is there a motion to approve the amended meeting agenda?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Mr. Godwin,
I'll second.
second by Ms. Chadwick. All those in favor, raise your right hand or say aye. Unanimous. Thank you. All right, public comment. We have a Mr. Patrick Keneally from Morehead City for public comment tonight. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. My name is Patrick Keneally. You can tell probably from the cow mask. I'm the local owner and operator for Chick-fil-A in Morehead City. I also have two students that are served by the Carteret County Schools. I have a 7th grader, Caleb, at Morehead Middle, and Reagan is a 4th grader at Morehead Elementary School. I'm also here to talk a little bit about the bonds tonight, and I want to get you up to date on a few things. First, I'm proud to say that, and I've prepared a couple of remarks to kind of go by tonight so I can stay on task. I'm really proud to say that I'm part of a citizens organization called the Carteret Citizens Advocating for Responsible Spending. And just as the name implies, we're a group of Carteret County citizens who work to ensure that tax dollars are spent or not spent in a responsible manner. We're trying to raise attention to the 2 bonds that appear on this year's Carteret County ballot, which are a common sense way to raise the revenue necessary to fund vital projects in our county. Most notably, capital needs for our schools. We've been pleased with the response so far, especially from the business community, who've looked at the bond financing model and determined that bonds do indeed make good sense. Because of the consistent feedback, that has become our motto: bonds make good sense. And because one of the bond referendums is a quarter penny sales tax, sometimes we spell cents, C-E-N-T-S, further highlighting the cost effectiveness of these bonds. I would encourage citizens who want to know more information about our group and hopefully join us in our grassroots effort to get the word out about this important choice on the ballot. I invite them to visit our website at carteretbonds2020.com or through social media on Facebook at Carteret Bonds 2020 to find out more information. This Board of Education supported these bond referendums unanimously. as did the entire Carteret County Board of Commissioners and our state representative, Pat McElraft. These are elected officials with a long history of being conservative and being excellent stewards of taxpayer dollars. And after looking at the particulars, I can see why they supported them. I, in fact, had the opportunity to go to every school in Carteret County and walk these projects. And I can tell you after meeting with the administrators that these are needs. These projects will make our schools more safe. They will make our schools more secure. They will bring the facilities up in line with the quality of education that we have in our community. And that's why I support them. There is so much attention being paid to the top of the ballot this year, and rightfully so. However, I urge citizens to please not forget about the two items on the ballot, which are these two bond referendums. And in fact, I'm telling some of my friends who support these bonds to vote the ballot from the back to the front, as there are also many important local races that are on the reverse side of the ballot. Once again, I'm proud to represent citizens supporting these common sense bonds, and I hope folks will reach out to us at carteretbonds2020.com or on Facebook at Carteret Bonds 2020. Hopefully, these citizen efforts will result in the passage of these cost-effective ways to finance these very important needs for our county. And remember, bonds make good sense. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Patrick.
you for being here.
Well said. Thank you so much.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Assuming everybody had a chance to look over that.
Mr. Chair, I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion by Mr. Jenkins, second.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Godwin. All those in favor, raise your right hand and say aye. Unanimous. Thank you, sir. All right, receive information on county SAT scores. Dr. Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Good evening. I'm extremely excited to have the opportunity to welcome Miss Allison Landry to the podium to share with you the results of our SAT scores. As we expected, the SAT score averages did go down just a little bit, but our ranking in the state remained in the top two. So we're very proud of the efforts of our students and staff, and I'd like to recognize Miss Landry to share the details with you. Ms. Landry.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson, and thank you, board members. My name is Allison Landry, and I do have the privilege of serving Carteret County Public Schools as the Director of Mathematics, as well as Data Analytics, and also the Interim Director of Science. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to provide a quick celebration of our district ranking with the recent released SAT scores. If you'll notice, Mr. McKay, this is not working. Okay, that's all right. You have the presentations in front of you, and we're just going to kind of go through these slides together. But the first thing is just letting you know what the SAT stands for. It does stand for Scholastic Achievement Test, and it is the College Board's flagship career and college readiness assessment. It was redesigned in 2017, and all of those revisions are firmly grounded in the evidence about what is needed for all students to be ready for and to succeed in college, as well as workforce training programs. I think it's also important to note that more than 1.6 million students worldwide do take this annual assessment. It is an optional assessment. It is not rooted in accountability for North Carolina. Therefore, not all of our students do participate. I do think it's also important to know that each student gets a total score, and that is based off of two different areas. As you can see here, the evidence-based reading and writing component, as well as the mathematics component. And I've just listed a few data points. I won't go through all of these about the different subtopics that are based in each of these major areas. There is an optional essay portion. However, the total score that is reported ranges from a scale of 400 to 1,600 points. Each of the two different components have a score of 800 maximum, and the essay scores are reported separately and are not factored into our total score. So as you may have noticed when you walked in tonight, there is a new updated 2019-20 SAT score, and I am very, very happy to report that Carteret County Schools is second in the state of our traditional top public school systems. Again, you can see here that we fall at 196 students that were tested, which is about 37.5 of our eligible cohort that test. And again, this is not required. This is an optional assessment that students take. Our overall total score is 1,156 based off of our ERW of 579 and our math score of 576. I think it's really important to note when you're looking at those scores that one really doesn't outshine the other. And what that tells me as a data analytics person is that we provide our students quality education in all the cores. It isn't just an English writing test or English reading test or a math test. It is a balanced education that our students are providing, and that is awesome. I also wanted to share with you that if we look at our Southeast region, Carteret County ranks #1 in our Southeast region, and you can see the collective corresponding scores of all the districts that surround us within Eastern North Carolina. I think it's also important to notice that we do have a historical trend. And if I could just share for you, if you'll notice, once that was redesigned in 2017, Carteret County Schools has ranked second 3 out of those 4 years. We did drop down a little bit to third, but again, we're aiming for first, but we have been second, and I think that's pretty good. We do notice, like Dr. Jackson said, that we had less students, or excuse me, our score decreased a little bit, but we had more students actually participate, and we expect to see that. When your sample size gets a little bit larger, you do have some fluctuation of scores. Some important takeaways that I just want to go through really quickly with you. Again, I know you have a busy night, is that Carteret County Schools has ranked in the top 3 for the past 4 years of our state rankings. We have quality students and high quality educators. We are continued to outscoring the state and the nation. Remember, 1.6 million students take this worldwide. We are continuing to lead the Southeast region. We have increased the number of students taking the assessment, and we have very balanced evidence, reading and writing, and math scores. And again, it's really important to understand that during COVID-19, our kids took this test, and our students continue to persevere and academically succeed. And I think that comes from the grit that we've built into our students. And so I celebrate this. I hope you will celebrate our SAT scores. We celebrate our students and congratulate them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Landry. That's quite a testament. And I know we have one of our successful students here tonight that came with Patrick that's demonstrated what Carteret County Schools can do for you. So thank you very much. Mr. Probst, second reading policy.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Unfortunately, my slideshow wasn't working tonight, so I apologize about that. Joking, one day I will bring a slideshow and surprise every one of you. Tonight, before you, for second read, you have a collection of policies, and as we spoke about last board meeting, these policies are really due to a federal government revision of the Title IX policies. The changes require significant modifications to the way school officials respond to reports and complaints of sexual harassment. The changes require revisions in the approach to investigate a complaint and adds additional personnel to be a part of the process. The policies further instruct the district on how to provide notification to staff, students, and parents of non-discrimination on the basis of sex. The policies were enacted as a regulation in August in order to comply with federal deadlines. There were no additional changes to the policy since first read. I will tell you that these policies are very detailed. Mr. Paler and I enjoyed a 3-hour training today on how to enact these policies. So it is something that is going to be a significant change from what we have done in the past. I also want to note that your approval tonight also rescinds some current policies that would be redundant as well as obsolete with the adoption of the new policies. So I would be happy to try to answer any questions about these policies.
Any questions for Mr. Probst? And if not, is there a motion to approve the policies as presented?
Make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Ms. Wheatley. Second.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Godwin. All those in favor, raise your right hand and say aye. Unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Probst, very much.
Thank you.
And I believe you're back for
First read.
First read.
Yes, there is only one policy before you for first read. This is a policy that was sent by the School Board Association because of the board's request to the General Assembly to adjust your district lines to mirror those of the county commissioners. So therefore, this policy is solely for Carteret County after the General Assembly made that decision or passed the legislation to enact your request. Is my understanding if the county commissioners change their districts at any point, your districts will change as well. So you will be locked stock and barrel with them the whole way through. So that is just for first read, and the only changes are in regards to your district lines comparing to their district lines. So,
And if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Whitford was involved with this because it was incredibly confusing to voters thinking that they would be voting for somebody that's in a commissioner's district where we would not. And so this just lines that up.
that is correct.
So, thank you for your work on that. Any questions on that policy for Mr. Probst or Mr. Whitford? Nope. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Carswell, budget revision number 2.
Good evening.
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 Budget revision number 2 consists of state budget revision and a federal budget revision. On the state budget revision, the first item is the additional principal position that we receive for MAST, substitute pay that we were reimbursed for May through June, appropriate the funds received for the cybersecurity for COVID-19, and appropriate funds received for principal intern that is now working at Broad Creek Middle. So the total state budget amendment is $145,661. The federal fund is a realignment of our ESSER funding from the federal government in line with how we were actually spending the money. When we first did the budget, sent the budget, we had to make some changes in how we were spending the funds, and this realigns it to how we are spending the funds. Total budget revision of $139,300.04. Any questions?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the budget revision number 2 as presented.
Great. Motion by Ms. Ehlers. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Ms. Wheatley. All those in favor, raise your right hand and say aye. Unanimous. Thank you very much, Ms. Carswell. Mr. Probst, I think you're back. Implementing employee assistance program.
I know that you received a little bit of this information already, but I want to talk to it and give more explanation than what we provided. Over the last couple of years, we have observed an increase of stressors on our employees. We've had Hurricane Florence, we've had Hurricane Doreen, both of which continue to impact our employees, but also the students that they are teaching or working with on a regular basis. On top of that, we have a pandemic that we're dealing with. And I can tell you firsthand in having to deal with employees on a regular basis, that is very pervasive in their lives and in the lives of their loved ones. I would also say that there's also the increased demand on the staff that we have now, given the different nature of opening schools this year. And so I know I've had conversations with a few of you, and you've had conversations with teachers, with staff members, with administrators, with us, and can see the stress, the mental anguish, the difficulties they're having, not only in the workplace, but also at home as well. So I'm happy to be able to come before you and propose on behalf of administration tonight a means to provide them with access to assistance for their mental health, the mental health of our employees and challenges that they face in the workplace and in their personal lives. An employee assistant program is a work-based intervention program designed to assist employees in resolving personal problems that may adversely impact their performance. Through the program we selected, my group, which is through a company called McLaughlin Young, employees can seek assistance from trained counselors for issues like substance abuse, alcohol abuse, relationship challenges, financial and legal problems, and traumatic life events. The program is offered by our current and voluntary benefits provider, which is the Pierce Group that provide us with dental plans and vision plans, and they're also allowing to provide us with the EAP. This company uses an an evidence-based tool to measure the effects of the EAP on changing employees' behaviors, quality return on investment. The research shows that EAPs impact absenteeism, work engagement, work distress, and job performance. So there's that clear, direct impact that it has on our school system. So just to give you highlights of the company, this company has over 30 years of experience with a network of 40,000 clinicians in more than 200 countries. The counselors have to have state licensure. They have to have a minimum of a graduate degree with 5 years postgraduate clinical experience. Those individuals that are working with clients regarding substance abuse also have to have the certification to do so. They also have to have knowledge about available community resources as well. In 2018, 80% of the cases with the group were resolved with the EAP model, incurring no additional health insurance costs to the employer or the employee. They provide a clinical care support, which is 24/7, 365 days, with experienced clinicians answering the phone on a 1-800 number. It's not, they don't have representatives answering the phone, they have clinicians answering the phone. Employees are offered face-to-face counseling sessions as well as video and telephonic counseling sessions. Again, they have a vast provider network and seek to refer clients to local community resources, provided that these resources have the specified credentials. They also provide a trauma team of clinicians trained in critical incident response, and they are available 24/7 in the event of emergency. They have an extensive network of providers trained in PTSD. And the system is, and they promote their system. It's no good to have a system if nobody's using it. So therefore, they use a multimedia approach by providing free, unlimited distribution of standard promotional materials, brochures, wallet cards, posters. They push out monthly communications with newsletters, online seminars on a variety of work-life topics to our staff. So a system that goes beyond just providing the service, they go out there and they solicit the service as well because they want you to be able to use the service. So the rate of the EAP is based on the number of employees, and the rate is $1.16 per month per employee. This allows employees up to 3 face-to-face or telephonic counseling sessions. So essentially, the cost for the school system is approximately $15,312 per year. Fortunately, for this year, for the 2020-2021 school year, we can use the CARES Act funding to pay for this. I would submit that this would be a great thing for our employees. I think they need it. And if you do approve it, I would ask that you also consider it for the 2021-22 budget year as well. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions for Mr. Probst?
Mr. Bruce, you said now, they have to be 5 years experience and certified and be available at least 365 days out of the year. That means every day, and 24/7 during the daytime. Now, do we have any of these people close in proximity, or we got to go to Raleigh or go to Charlotte for these kind of people?
So in regards to the clinicians that are 24/7, 365, that's by telephone to start off with. So if you have, if there's an employee that has a need, seeking to get a need anytime during the day or night, they can make that phone call to that 1-800 number and they'll speak to a clinician immediately that has that certification. Then they're going to be referred to somebody who hopefully is in close proximity. According to the information, they want to make sure that you have the credentials before they refer you to that individual. And the idea is to at least have somebody within 25 miles of the person or 30 minutes.
Do we have a list of those kind of people?
I do not have the list, no, sir.
And you're saying this would cost our system $15,312 per year.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Not gonna cost the individual anything.
Those 3 sessions will not cost, they will not cost them anything for those first 3 sessions.
First 3 sessions.
Yes, sir.
After that, what does that mean?
After that, then they would have to use their health care, whatever their deductible would be for that, assuming that they would have to have more than 3 sessions.
But that would be plain to that person, explain to them directly saying, okay, if you have to have more than 3, your insurance got to be filed to pay for this. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
Any other questions? Mr. Probst, that is a fantastic presentation. And I think for me, it's a no-brainer. I know that you and some others, Tabby included, have been working on this for a couple of years, seeing the need for a while. And I think it's a great opportunity to get our employees some help. So if there's no other questions, is there a motion to improve the employee assistance program as presented?
Mr. Chair, I will make the motion to improve the employee assistance program as mentioned.
Mr. Jenkins with the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Ehlers. All those in favor, raise your right hand or say aye. That's unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your efforts with that.
Appreciate it.
Nice job. And thank you, Tabby. I know you've worked behind the scenes quite a bit on that. So thank you for all your efforts there. All right, consider revisions to the 2021 academic school calendar. Mr. McKay. He steps back from behind the camera.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We wanted to clean up some pieces with our academic calendars, and we've got 3 different pieces that you've seen in your board packet. The first, looking at our K-8. Then I've just highlighted the revisions out to the side. First of all, October 14th, 15th, and 16th. You approved that move as we moved elementary schools back to Plan A, or transition time for middle schools and for elementary schools during September 24th. But it's the first time you've seen it on the calendar, so I wanted to just highlight that for you. Also, then looking at our 5 remote learning days. So we currently have 4 of them taken care of in the K-8 calendar on that week of the 12th. We would then propose to move the last of those from November the 25th back up to August the 26th and count that as already done. That would also allow us at any point, if we come back to Plan A for all of middle school as well, we no longer have to have a remote learning day past the point that we come back to school. Also, changing those future remote learning days, we would look at changing those back to teacher work days, which is how they originated in the calendar to begin with before we had the remote learning days. That would be November the 25th, February the 15th, March the 12th, and April the 12th. Questions about K-8 before I move to 9-12? Yes, sir.
In general, Mr. McKay, maybe in future calendar years, we'll be able to pull this off, but I'm not predicting that the June 1st and half a day on June 2nd are going to be our most productive academic days of the school year, right after Memorial Day weekend. So it'd be awesome if at some point in time we could squeeze those days somewhere in the school year.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. We will take that under advisement as we look at a calendar committee moving forward. For 9-12, we have moved the future remote learning days to the first 4 Wednesdays of the school year. Now, you notice we didn't put it on August the 19th. That was part of that legislation. We could not have a remote learning day that first week of school. So we started those on August the 26th and went through September the 16th with those. Again, so that they are already done. So if at any point we come back Plan A for high school, we do not have to meet that requirement of the 5 remote learning days. We've already done that. Changing again those future remote learning days to teacher work days, November the 25th, February the 15th, March the 12th, and April the 2nd. Questions on the 9/12 calendar? And the last of these, looking at MAST. This is just a little bit different, but basically doing the same thing. The only thing is MAST remote learning days have been on Fridays because that matched with the college schedule that they were looking at. And that's where they had the least community college classes to be able to have to worry about on those remote learning days. So they're missing the least amount of instruction. So we've moved all those future remote learning days to the first 4 Fridays for this school year. Again, not that first week, but starting that week of the 28th of August. And then changing the future remote learning days to teacher work days. November the 25th, again, the same, February 15th, and then March the 5th and April the 2nd.
Any questions for Mr. McKay? Is there a motion to approve the revisions to the 2021 academic school calendar as presented?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Ms. Wheatley,
I'll second that.
second by Mr. Godwin. All those in favor, raise your right hand or say aye. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Dr. Jackson, resolution recognizing October's National Principals Month.
Good evening again, board members. Thank you for your consideration for a resolution recognizing the month of October 2020 as National Principals Month. The proposed resolution reads as follows. Whereas the month of October 2020 is National Principals Month, and whereas the Carteret County Public School System is fortunate to have dedicated and devoted principals serving as educational leaders in our schools, and whereas principals are entrusted with our county's most valuable resource, young people, and whereas principals are educational visionaries, instructional leaders, assessment experts, disciplinarians, community builders, public relations experts, budget analysts, facility managers, special program administrators, and guardians of various legal, contractual, and policy mandates and initiatives. And whereas principals set the academic tone for their schools and work collaboratively with teachers and teacher leaders to develop and maintain high curriculum standards and set performance goals and objectives. And whereas principals create school environments that facilitate great teaching and learning and continuous school improvement. And whereas National Principals Month is a means to recognize principals for the leadership they provide for providing high-quality learning opportunities for students and for exemplary contributions to the educational profession. Therefore, be it resolved that the Carteret County Board of Education members honor and recognize the contribution of school principals to the success of students in this county and in this nation, and encourages the citizens of Carteret County to join with them in expressing appreciation to principals for ensuring that every child has access to a high-quality education. Adopted this 6th day of October, 2020.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution as presented?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Chair.
Motion by Mr. Godwin. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Day. All those in favor, raise your right hand and say aye.
Aye.
Clearly unanimous. Thank you very much. And facilities support operations update. Mr. Paylor.
Good evening, board members. For this month's facility update, there's not a lot of changes since last month. They're still finishing up painting at Beaufort Middle School and Moorhead Middle. At Moorhead Middle, it's just down to some striping in the parking lot. And at Beaufort Middle, it's basically a punch list finishing up there. The White Oak Elementary School cafeteria HVAC system is still living on the edge, but we have ordered a system for that replacement and hope to get it in, and it's ready. We have the contractors ready to install it as soon as it comes in. And also our athletic outbuildings at our 3 high schools. We had HVAC projects in each of those for the HVAC for the bathrooms. And those have all been started. Carteret is almost complete. They've moved on to East Carteret, and after that, they'll get to West Carteret. So those will be completed before our athletic seasons begin. Any questions?
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Jackson.
Thank you. Again, good evening, board members. Thank you very much, board members, for your interaction earlier this afternoon with the representatives of each school's Parent Advisory Council. I appreciate your ongoing commitment to work in deep partnership with parents and the community. Board members, I'd like to draw your attention to the face coverings that are displayed to my left on these boards. The school system had an art contest, a visual arts contest for our students in elementary, middle, and high schools, and these are the finalists. The actual winner at each level will be recognized next week. I'll be going to the school to present them with their blue ribbon, and I'm absolutely delighted and blown away by the talent of our students, and so very much appreciate those and thought you would enjoy seeing the student finalists for the mass contest here this evening. Please allow me to give a shout out to our incredible child nutrition staff members throughout our school system. In addition to all they have done with feeding students in person and through pickups, they are also maintaining incredibly clean and healthy cafeterias. Health inspections have just concluded. The results in our school system are absolutely amazing. No school cafeteria in the Carteret County school system scored below 99% on the inspection. Let me repeat that. No school cafeteria in the Carteret County school system scored below 99% on the inspection. The following schools actually earned a perfect score of 100%. Harkers Island Elementary School, Broad Creek Middle School, East Carteret High School, Newport Middle School, Down East Middle and Smyrna Elementary, Beaufort Middle School, and Croatan High School. White Oak Elementary and West Carteret High School each earned scores of 99.5%, almost there, but incredible work on the part of our child nutrition staff members. I'd like to share with the board and with those who may be watching that we're still seeking substitute teachers. If anyone is interested in this opportunity to serve our students, please contact Mr. Probst and our Human Resources Department as we continue to look for substitute teachers. Board members, our elementary schools are very busy with preparing for all students to return under Plan A on October 19th. Yesterday, I joined the curriculum and instruction team in meeting with the elementary school principals in reviewing the deployment of elementary teachers. As planned for, no elementary teacher will have to teach both virtual and face-to-face students. This will allow teachers to continue to improve the educational experience of our students, regardless of how they're being instructed. And I very much want to highlight the work of our principals, administrators, and our C&I team in helping make that come to fruition. By the way of an update on the pandemic, in terms of school-associated confirmed COVID-19 cases, 34 cases have been confirmed to have been associated with our facilities since school started on August 18th, 2020. The location and dates of the cases are available on the school system website. We are reviewing our reporting mechanisms to ensure that we are reporting what we're allowed to report. We are committed to operating in a very transparent manner and will continue to do so. This past Friday was National Custodial Workers Recognition Day. I'd like to publicly recognize the men and women who work so very hard to keep our facilities clean and disinfected. We rely on them to keep us safe and truly, truly appreciate all of their efforts. The month of October, as you just discussed, is National Principals Appreciation Month. Research from the Wallace Group states that, quote, leadership is second only to classroom instruction among all school-related factors that can contribute to what students learn at school. The same research report also states that great schools do not exist apart from great leaders. This is an amazing school system with outstanding schools. There is no question in my mind that we are blessed with some of the finest principals and assistant principals anywhere. I salute the men and women who dare to take up the mantle of school leadership and who, in this moment of unprecedented challenge, are rising to the occasion to serve our students, teachers, and staff. Mr. Chair, Mr. Vice Chair, and members of the board, we have been, we are, and we will remain Carteret strong. And this concludes my comments. Thank you, sir.
Great, thank you so much. Ms. Wheatley, would you like to start tonight?
Yes.
Sure. I would like to first commend Mr. Keneally for coming and speaking. I think that what he and the group of folks within our community are doing to help promote this bond in the election, or on the ballot in the election of November, is wonderful. I know that each one of us have gone through the list and with a fine-tooth comb, we've made sure that none of the things that are listed on that bond are actual wants, but they are in fact needs. I promote the bond 100%. I'm pretty sure that most of you do as well, or all of you. And I would really like to thank him for coming and speaking tonight. I would also like to recognize our principals. They have had quite the job on their hands lately. Each one of them are going through different things. We have our elementary principals who are trying to get back in school full time. We have our middle school principals who are struggling with making sure that their teachers are okay teaching 3 sets of students. And then we have our high school principals who are also trying to juggle as well. I'd like to thank each one of those as well. And that's all I have for tonight, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much.
My turn?
Yes, sir.
Awesome,
Please.
great. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Another wonderful night being with y'all. I'm with Brittany on the bond. You know, we spent countless hours as a board understanding the needs that our school system has. And we went over it and over it. And this is something that will benefit our county. It'll benefit our teachers. It'll benefit our administrators, but most importantly, will benefit our children. And our children is what this is all about. This is why we're all here, for our children. That's a segue into one thing I want us all to remember, and anybody who's listening on YouTube, our children don't always have a voice. You know, teachers can come in here and speak, parents can, administrators can. Our children don't always have a voice, and they are struggling. And I want us to please always keep that at the forefront of our mind, because that is the most important part of our job, is making sure we take care of our kids. And they don't have a voice, so we've got to speak for them, and we've got to take care of them. Lastly, I would like to thank all the parents who step up for the political action committees, especially, excuse me, not political, parent, sorry. Anyway, especially in these times. This is as y'all well know, this is pure insanity sometimes. And for them to step up under these circumstances and care enough to take care of these kids is just kudos to them. That is just fantastic. And I'm very, very proud and happy to be associated with them. So y'all have a great night.
Also thank all the PAC representatives who spoke tonight virtually. We look forward to seeing you next month in person, but appreciate all your participation to be with us. Also, cafeteria workers, great job on child nutrition for having those high rankings. That's a great saying of how clean and orderly you are when you do your jobs at those particular lunchrooms, because that's one of the hardest jobs I can ever remember, doing cafeteria duty and watching those ladies and men work in the cafeteria, having to clean up, follow up on all things like that. That's superb, being almost 100%. Again, congratulations to all the principals this coming month for principal recognition. Great job to all y'all. Congrats on all the custodial workers. That's another group of people who do a fantastic job in our system. Congratulations also with the county SAT scores. That's another great job, staying ranked like we are. That just shows how much our kids or how good they are when they are taking these kind of tests and scoring high marks. Also, we're in need of substitute teachers and bus drivers still. So if you're still interested in wanting to become one of those people, please contact the central office here and get in touch. Become a substitute teacher and a bus driver. And also comment, you know, the bond is a big thing for our county, and the children of this county deserve these things that we have put together on this system. And I hope that everybody that goes and looks at what the bond is looking for, that they will take time to go vote and support this bond. And it's a big thing. I believe it be a big item that our county really needs to put us where we need to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Godwin. Ms. Ehlers?
During National Principals Month, I'd like to thank Carteret County principals for being such strong leaders during these unprecedented times. As we all know, since the onset of COVID-19, this school system has faced never before seen challenges. And it seems without exception, our principals came through when it mattered most. So I'm happy that we get a chance to celebrate and recognize them for a whole month and tell them that we are proud of the daily impact they have on the success and well-being of our students. I would encourage parents and students to take a minute and thank them and make sure they know how much they are appreciated. What we are asking, not only the principals, but teachers, staff, administrators to accomplish in the coming weeks. First, with the return of the K-5 students, and hopefully soon with the remainder of the system, is just the latest example of this almost unfathomable experience we are all having. And so in addition to the principals, I want to say thank you to everyone involved in working so incredibly hard to move us back towards some sense of normalcy for these children. I pray that with all the thorough and thought, effort, time, and talent put into this plan, that we are all able to stay safe and healthy and come out on the other end of this collective nightmare stronger together. Not that it is needed, but if you are looking for evidence to support the fact that we have an incredible organization made up of tremendous professionals who care about the success of our students, you need to look no further than the report we just received on our high schoolers' SAT scores. A lot of times, we use these closing remarks to talk about the anecdotal examples of our folks doing great things. But it sure does feel good when we have empirical data like that to back up what we know is true. Congratulations to the students and to everyone involved in giving them the tools they need to achieve these high scores that are so vital to helping them move on to that next step in their education at these four-year institutions. Before I finish up, I want to mention two more things. First, it is to take a moment to say a special thank you to those folks who will be retiring soon. Thank you for taking the time to listen, encourage, and share. You made a real difference in the lives of the students you taught. It is my fervent wish that you have a happy retirement. And finally, I would be remiss if I didn't ask the citizens of the county to take some time and seriously consider the upcoming bond initiative. All of these things that we've talked about, all of these successes, all of these great things our teachers, administrators, students have accomplished, these things don't happen without public support and the funding that comes along with it. And so in closing, I just want to say thank you. And thank you, God, we have the opportunity to live in this county, which I have to say really does feel like a haven from the storm going on in most of the rest of the country right now. I pray all of you are able to stay healthy and safe.
I want to thank Mr. Keneally, Patrick Keneally, and Ed Stack, and Mitch Gay, and all of the people who are helping with the efforts to advertise and really support this bond referendum. Want to make sure I repeat the name of their organization, Carteret Citizens Advocating Responsible Spending. the key words there, responsible spending. I really want you guys to think hard about this. This is an investment, not only in our students, but this is an investment in our community. So think of it that way. This really is a smart move.
I love all our schools, the children, teachers, staff, and parents that work together to make it a great system. I appreciate all the hard work the past 7 weeks that everyone in our system has done, and I know so many people, especially the children, who are looking forward to coming back to school 5 days a week. I'm going to give you a backstory. September 2017, I attended my first advisory board meeting at East Carteret. I had a 9th grader, and I had not been to East very much since I graduated. At this meeting, I was flabbergasted at the condition of the auditorium, tennis courts, and porta-johns on ball fields. We have some of the best schools and one of the highest rated school systems in the state, but our facilities need work. We have 2 high school facilities that are almost 60 years old. I'm raising 3rd generation Mariners, and our schools need upgrades. We also have safety needs on all our school campuses that we need to address. Hurricane-ready shelter gyms are also a real need. After Florence, we were 10 days without power, and the fleet of power trucks were staged in the parking lot of our high school. It would have been nice to have had a gym with a serving line and a place for those linemen to lay their heads. This gym would have also helped people that were displaced from the storm to get a hot meal. These items are real needs and not wants. I hope people will vote twice for the bond and quarter-cent tax to help our schools be the best we can provide for our children and the next generation. We have to look to the future and invest in our future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm going to repeat a lot of what everybody said, so I'll be brief. But first of all, Chandler, I wanted to thank you for being here on behalf of the board. Any chance you have an opportunity to speak in public like that, I would encourage you to. So thank you, and I thank your parents for getting you here tonight. I also, as Travis mentioned, want to recognize Patrick Keneally, Ed Stack, Mitch Gay, and their whole team for leading this community-led support of the bond and the quarter-cent sales tax referendum. I've been on this board for almost 7 years, and for 7 years, we've been talking about it. And my whole family supports it. I hope you will as well. If you're able to get out into the schools, you'll see the needs from the east to the west. There's nothing on there that is a want. These are all needs to take us for the next generation of students to come through. So thank you for the work that you're doing there. Ms. Landry, thank you for your presentation on the SATs. It continues to amaze me. And while our students are in high school when they take that, it certainly takes our elementary schools and middle schools to get them to the point that they're taking and scoring so high on the SATs. So thank you to the high schools, but we also want to recognize the elementary and middle schools as well. Our principals don't get enough recognition. They are teachers in some cases, they're counselors in some cases, and if you know a principal, thank them. Actually, if you know anybody in the school system, you see them out, thank them. Child nutrition, phenomenal job. Those folks don't get enough praise as well. Our next meeting is November the 4th, which is a Wednesday because of voting next month. And we will meet with the PAC chairs at 5 p.m. and then have a regularly scheduled meeting at 6 p.m. And with that, I know that we're going into closed session. Is there a motion for us to go into closed session?
Mr. Chair, I move to convene in closed session pursuant to General Statute 143-318-11A3 to consider confidential attorney matters.
Motion by Ms. Wheatley. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Godwin. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All right, we are in closed session. Thank you very much.